So we've got our piece here and our flake, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get rid of this right here first. I want to get rid of this square edge, and it's kind of a miniaturized version of what I'd done in one of my previous videos where I was edging it out with a little like zigzag sort of attack on that edge. So I'm going to start off. I'll just do everything on my legs so you can see it. I'm going to come in this way and sort of push down. Didn't quite catch. There we go. I'm going to sort of braid the edge of that with the antler. And then I'm going to come this way. There we go. Same thing. Again, this way. It's kind of gnarly in there. There's a little bit of a weird spot, but I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. Come at it from this side. And you can just use the edge of your antler to sort of braid that. As a matter of fact, it's a little bit better because you get a different kind of edge, an edge that slightly bites into the antler and gives you a little bit more grab. It's kind of interesting doing it this way. I usually don't do as much on my leg, but I want to make sure that you can see what's going on here. Sticking just a little bit, there we go. Just get rid of the rest of that. And it got a little wonky up in there, but like I said, we'll take care of that when we start working on the other edges. I'm going to go just straight into this. The next thing I do is I'm actually going to try to, we'll just go for a triangular piece, and one of the things you can do is just sort of draw that in with a marker. It makes it easier to sort of get an idea. This whole flake isn't going to be used for the point. I mean, parts of it are kind of thin and weird. So we're just going to go ahead and say maybe about that much of it. And I'm going to use a technique that's kind of an anvil technique to get rid of some of the edges and shape it out a little bit. So I'm just going to take, this is a piece of limestone from Santa Barbara, and I've been using it for a small hammerstone, and it works really, really well, especially on obsidian. This is a really good way to shape a piece relatively quickly. And you'll notice that I'm primarily sort of, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it set up so that I'm working on the dorsal face as opposed to the ventral face. The ventral face would be the face with the previous flake scars on it, and the ventral being the actual, you know, piece with the undulations on it, and the part with the undulations on it. And it's better to start off on this side because if there aren't ridges for your pressure flakes to follow, it's going to be difficult to drive across it. So you kind of want to get that started early, and it also helps you build convexity with the piece, which is also a really good way to get your flakes to travel. Flakes don't travel as well across a perfectly flat surface. They tend to follow convexity. So when all possible, you're trying to build convexity in the piece. And then I'm going to start kind of by shaping out this side. You got to get into it from several different angles. Keep going along. And this might take a while, and that's fine. You want to take your time with these sorts of things. You don't want to be in too much of a rush. It's just a huge pain if you try to rush everything. And you see when you're doing that, you could do that continually, and you're going to be building up a platform that is going to allow you, like when I do it on the sides, there will be an opportunity for me to then come in this way. So I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to get it set up, and then we'll get into pressure flaking.